Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop along with Mopars.com. A Sunday fun day, what is it? About 7:30 here, still 90 degrees. We jumped up in temperature real quick, so there's a fan blowing. I did just do a check to make sure there's not like going to be that inaudible blowing noise that people complain about. I didn't hear it, but I also didn't turn the fan off, so maybe it was still there. Quite frankly, if you were here, you would not, many people wouldn't be here, but if you were, you would have a fan going too. So on that front, I'm not as happy as I was when I walked out here, and you'll see why here in a moment. But what we've got going on, this is another Zoro Tool Haul. I had 25% off, cashed in. There's some stuff I needed, some stuff I wanted to upgrade, and so we did. We're going to get started here. Keep in mind the prices I'm going to tell you will be the 25% off. So I spent $17.63 on this item, and it's the one I'm currently the most salty about. Throw it down right here. This, as many of you can probably tell if you're familiar with the item, is a Vaughan hammer. This particular one is a claw, and it's a, let's see here, it's I think a 16-ounce head. Don't hold me to that. But you're thinking, hey, you know, isn't that made in America? Yeah, it 100% is. That part is great. The price was fantastic. You typically pay like around $25 for this. I'm going to show you what I was ordering, okay? This thing right here, all right? Now, I don't know, maybe this is like, I feel like I've held these at Home Depot years back, and I was wondering if that was like a wrap or it would come off the handle, or if it was like silk screened or something. But you'll note that that's blue. The handle itself is blue, and then all around the area between, you know, the center selection and the head is blue, and everything's blue, and you should know I like blue. It's FS16. You're going to see the part number right there. And just so you know, I'm not screwing around with you. Where's the price? Let me make this a manageable size for us. If you wanted to buy this right now with no discount at all, you're looking at $23.51. And again, with 25% off, you do the math and check me if you feel the need. $17.63. So should be a great hammer. I've heard good things about Vaughan. If I have ever swung one, it's really old and there's no branding on it, or I never bothered to look for branding. Typically things are like S-Wing or Proto or something. And there's many times, you know, like I've been at Home Depot and, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's one of the, this is on me. I always like to feel a hammer before I buy it. I'm pretty particular. You know, some things that you think might look great online come in and you hate it. It doesn't feel balanced to you, or there's some defect. It's better to have like a stack of 12 on a peg that you can go through. In this case, I'm not going to get that price locally, right? And the thing that bothers me, though, if I take this out, this is how. Number one, let's start, rewind just a little bit. I have 4 items in this tool haul. This came in a box by itself with nothing else. The other 3 items, which you'll see why I'm a little salty about this, came in this, okay? Like a bag you would ship a t-shirt in, okay? This would have been questionable in there. That's not even a bubble mailer. It's legit just like a cheap, you know, fold over adhesive envelope, right? So this came, to its credit, in like a nice standalone box, so it doesn't have anything else that's going to beat up or get wear and tear on, just in transit. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that's, I mean, some people might like it, but that's hideous. This is like an as-cast yellow bone fiberglass color, right? You know, like, I don't know if like someone forgot to paint it and just threw stickers on. You tell me, but you saw the picture, and that is definitively not a blue handle, okay? Right here, this area on our little, you know, thing that I just showed you, if you click the link, which I always put down below, I don't make a dime off of that, but you think, man, I love that color, that's a stupid goodbye. You know, I looked at these locally and they're like 36, I'm going to get that thing. Number one, tell me what you get, but if this doesn't bother you, you've got to admit, like, this was blue in the picture, and this whole section here, leading up to the head of the hammer, was blue. Okay, now, interestingly, you think, well, maybe they just like totally oversighted this and it was a reject and got sent out. The underside here is coated. It looks like it's a blue powder coat, you know, which I wouldn't know because nothing else was coated. So that's cool, and that's realistically what should have been here and what should have been on this handle. And whether or not, you know, like that was just a plastic deal that you cut off with the Made in America, I don't know. I think they started doing that, you know, geez, several years ago, but I think the ones I was looking at didn't have it, so it's very likely you would like slip plastic and it's just like a leaflet type of a deal, you know, paper behind the wrap. But nonetheless, I won't know because it's not there. The other thing, I wasn't thrilled about this sticker. The adhesive was getting all over me. I'm going to stick that on the... I'm not going to stick it anywhere. I'm going to get it as far away from me as I can. Screw you, adhesive. There's nothing I want this. This is the nasty trash adhesive that's going to be there forever. So as soon as this video concludes, I'm going to go get some ballast on this thing. The Vaughan decal, maybe... it's not really placed. It's the little things, you know, maybe I'm nitpicking crud, but like, that is not centered. It's disproportionately higher here. It's coming down at an angle, right? If we had a wheel and we started here, it's going to roll this direction because that's not level. Small thing, yes, but not blue, not blue. Decals off. This is relatively centered, and what does that say? Well, that's the important part. You can see right there, proud to say, made in the USA. It's an FS16, again, 16 ounce, made in the USA. The head of the hammer looks fantastic, okay? The handle, I've not really felt of it too much. It looks really good too, aside from having the adhesive residue on it. This not being blue is a major disappointment. That's just kind of sad that that's not centered on top of it not being blue, but I guess if I take it off to paint it myself, we'll have that going. But like I said, it's disappointing because this is nothing like what I ordered. But the business end is intact. There doesn't seem to be any defects. You can see the adhesive fill and everything. There's no flex. That adhesive is so nasty. There's like the clean adhesive that lifts off, and then there's the stuff that's like forever tacky and it's going to get grease and dirt, especially dust and dirt where I live and work. The handle feels good. I think it's going to be a fine hammer. It's just a shame that, you know, if I had an option between getting what I thought I was buying for the 23 bucks and then getting like some, well, we had this thing and we kind of screwed up and forgot to paint it, it's 15 bucks. I'd go ahead and buy the one that I wanted for an extra $8 because it would make me happy, right? You know, now if this is like $4.99, well, maybe, you know, you can say, screw that, I can paint it myself or something. But like I said, it's not terrible looking. It's just definitely not what I wanted. This is like if you went and you ordered yourself a B5 Blue 71 Challenger and you came in and you got like A4 silver. Like, well, it doesn't look terrible, but it's not blue. You know, type of a thing. But in this case, it's like an egregiously bad natural fiberglass, and yeah, just don't like it. So why did I buy this though? What's the big deal? Why on God's green earth would I need a claw hammer? Well, technically I don't need a claw hammer here, and we've got them at work. It's just a deal where the pallets have been so bad that I have to deal with recently, whether it's like repairing one, kind of combining 2 or 3 to make one good one, dealing with the motors that come in type of stuff. You know, sometimes have nails you need to drive. Sometimes, like when the staples shear off and they're super low, instead of like grinding your pincers down into the wood and creating a burr and trying to extract them out that way, I can just hammer them home. I've been grabbing an old wood-handled one. And, it's one of those like questionable heads, you know. It's kind of been home remedied a few times, so you never know when that's going to fly off, and that's not really fun. So this comes to town. The other thing, when I get vertical crates or anything like that, the claw will come in handy there. Would a ripping hammer have been better? For some things, but the fact of the matter is, it just works so well for pulling nails. Going with a claw. The other thing, I really wanted a Vaughan hammer because I've never swung one. Like I said, I probably have, but I don't know about it. Certainly nothing long-term or that I own. And if there's anything at work, Lord knows you're not going to read branding on it at this point in time. So that's where this came in. I wanted to try out Vaughan. I thought it looked amazing. The price was great. Made in America. Lots to love. Wouldn't be complaining at all, aside from the adhesive, if this would have been finished out like the picture. If this was a defect, slipped through the cracks, that's not cool for me. But if they've decided to no longer put blue here and on the handle, they really need to update photos, like stock photos for vendors, distributors, and all that stuff, because it sucks for the end user. Puts a bad taste in my mouth. But like I said, the salvageable thing, number one, fantastic price. I mean, made in America, even with all the shortcomings, I can probably get the adhesive off to a satisfactory point. But 17 bucks for this guy, this is like one of those lifetime tools. Short of you doing something crazy or the handle shattering or the head coming off, I mean, this is kind of like one of those things, if short of like a fire or tornado that moves it around, you could come here in 50 years and this thing's probably going to be sitting around where I last had it. So should be good on that front, and I'm excited to try it. I just wished it looked as cool as what I thought I was buying. So coming in from there, where do we want to go? Let's actually stick with the theme. It's hammer time, okay? Now this is also a little salty, but for a different reason. 7,500 subscribers, I promised everyone I would do a Mac tool haul. Alright? I'm not an idiot. I know that there's flyers and you can get better deals on the flyers, and so as we were getting close to it, I'm thinking like, you know, I should probably start looking at this, see if there's anything I want that I can catch a better price on. Why? I'm thrifty. So, there's been several things, and my first swing where I was like, okay, this is legit, I'm going after this. I had gone in and they had, if you saw me like round out with that Lyle pipe expanded reducer deal, I was using my little Estwing, a little 2 or 3 pound drilling hammer. Love the thing. I had never had to use it. Like, it's been used a lot, but it's never been used that much in succession, right? So it's usually center punch or stamp or whatever I'm doing, and it's like maybe 4 to 8 blows type of a thing. And then you do something else, and maybe you have to grind, and you stamp some other side, you know. But it's never been used like continuously for, you know, 30, 40 minutes type of a thing. And, something that I'd always seen and always kind of admired, but didn't really have, you know, like a justification to get, was the Mac anti-vibe hammer. Well, that thing, it's sometimes it comes with like things I don't care about, like punches and chisels that are $500, which makes no sense, but that's beside the point. It's free there, but like they had a deal where it was like crazy good price, something where I was like, man, even if this thing sucks or is a disappointment, it's going to be a good solid hammer for years. I'm pulling the trigger. The way Mac does this, you may or may not be familiar, depending on A, if you have an interest in buying them, and B, if you've got a dealer. But if you don't, or if you go online, I can't just like add, let's say this is the Mac hammer, and you know it's usually $78, but it's on promo for $49. And you think, oh, this is the one I wanted, I gotta pull the trigger. You can't just go and add it to your cart, okay? Like, you can add it to your cart, but you're paying $78. There's no code, none of that stuff you can do. To get this for $49 from the Mac Tools website, you have to call them, okay? As archaically backward and as many sales as they probably lose from people like myself who don't often have time during set business hours, you know, like a 9 to 5 type of a thing for some office worker, that cuts me out of the picture, right? Like, I'm not going to pay $78 for it, but the $49, yeah, well, okay. But I want to add this and buy this. I do my stuff like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., okay? Like, some of you see the Instagram posts and stuff, like, it's not just, I don't schedule that crud. I don't even know if they let me do that, but that's when I'm up doing this stuff, okay? And same thing with buying the tools, you know, KC tool. I check tool of the day at midnight. You know what I mean? And so I had to get really lucky where I was solo in the office and the phone wasn't ringing, and I thought, you know what, I'm going for it. And I called her. The lady was incredibly nice. I mean, she was super cool. We had like a 10-minute conversation while she like tried to get everything in the cart and everything. She's telling me she was going to like the Seinfeld show. I thought they would have been based in Dallas. She was like in, I don't remember if it was Virginia or Maryland, but I mean, super nice. Loved the lady. The process wasn't terrible. It did take quite a while, like way longer than just me getting to throw it in a cart for 5 minutes at, 1 in the morning. But the bottom line is, I don't have that hammer, okay, currently anyway. And the reason for it, they apparently just like proceeded to cancel my order. And that sucked. And there's been a couple more times like Mac anti-vibe hammers have come up, not necessarily the drilling hammer, but some others. And they've been on promo, and it's like, well, I don't know if I want to try that. I have to take time to call them in, and then what are they going to do? Say they sold out and they can't give me the sale price or something? I was fine waiting. I mean, I could have waited 6 months. If you honor my sale price, send me the freaking hammer that I bought, right? No dice. And that is why we have this. from Proto. And some of you that have Mac anti-vibe hammers will think, hey, that looks familiar. And if I flip this over, I take this plastic bag off, which I have no idea why they really shipped that, I guess just to keep from marring anything. You'll see that this is a Proto anti-vibe hammer. As best I know, I want to say the Mac ones are made in Mexico. This tag right here on the Proto hammer says Taiwan. So, you know, would I prefer Mexico? Possibly. You know, I'd have to kind of have like the two to compare, which we totally could have done if they would have shipped the hammer that I bought on sale and wasted like 15 minutes of my life calling in. But, anyway, this thing, I thought, you know what, screw it. We're going to go this route. These, like I said, are occasionally in the flyers. Well, and it was a deal where it's like, I'm not going through all that trouble. They'll just cancel my order. You know, I guess the more popular the item, the more likely it is to sell out. I don't know how many days it takes them to process an order, or if that's their goal, is to never process the order. Or maybe they like work for dealers, you know, they're more concerned about getting stock out, you know, to distributor X, Y, and Z than the, you know, direct online sale person. I have no idea. But this is a hammer that would typically cost $36, and I got it for $27.40 with our discount. That's a win. That's fractions of what Mac would cost. Again, is it Mexico versus Taiwan? Are they identical? If we break them down, can anyone tell a difference? No clue, and I can't conduct that because I don't have any Mac hammers, despite trying. So, some of you might be like, man, that's kind of expensive, $27.40. Well, here's the deal. I went with a 24-ouncer. Again, this is the situation. I wished I could walk in a brick-and-mortar store, grab them, feel them, and say, hey, you know, this 16-ouncer isn't going to cut it. The 36 is too big. The 24 is the sweet spot. Or whatever, you know, delineations they have, whether they go in increments of 2, 4, whatever. It's nice to like grab it, feel it, and think of what you're planning to do with the hammer. And if it's a situation where you just need a tiny, like an 8-ounce hammer, and you love the thing, then you might be like, man, that hammer's been so good, I've got to, you know, I got to get more of them. I could use a heavier head weight. Same thing if you buy a big slug and you're like, this is the best hammer ever. Then you can come in and you think, man, you know, I got the 32 or 36 ounce. I think the 16 would be a really good accompaniment to this. You go back and buy it after you've got experience, right? To Mac and Proto's credit, they have basically the same sets on these, again, regardless of country of origin, where I think you can get 4 of them in a set. You save a ton of money. I think like this guy right here, again, $36 before the sale price. The set of 4 Protos is like $110 when it's on sale. That's before a discount, mind you. So you do the math. I mean, you're going to save money. My thing is, I don't want to buy 4 freaking hammers if I don't know if I like them. So when you can't experience them in person, in hand, you're just buying blindly. And as much as you'd like to take advice from people online, it's kind of a personal, subjective thing, right? If the consensus from everyone is like, man, these are really good. It's not my favorite, but it's still good. It gives you peace of mind, but you're not going to know until it's actually in your hands. So that's where we kind of stand with this guy. But 24 ounce I felt was going to be good. What am my main thing with this? It's legitimately coming in and just whacking away on the back of a striking cap. And trying to get under some of the stubborn little staples. So like this guy right here, little Vera chisel driver, that's what we would be using it with. I use the smaller ones. Sadly, this Vera 3.5, they don't put a striking cap on it, which is still crazy to me. But so we've got a 4.5, and sometimes like you need that leverage. I'm kind of tired of hitting it with what I was hitting it with, which was not a hammer. So I'm gonna dedicate this guy to that purpose. So I can tell you right now, my next complaint, and this could totally have been the way they packed it in transit. It could have run into other items. This just might not be finished out well. This face is immaculately good. I don't have any complaints about it. It's almost like a mirror finish. You know, there's a few imperfections there, but it's nothing that you feel. Turning this over, you feel a lot wrong. And, you know, if this was after, you know, a month of me having this hammer and I did all this, that's fine. That's cool. But when I bring in a new tool, especially a brand that I trust and consider to be reputable, regardless of the country of origin, that to me is not satisfactory, right? Is it going to affect the performance overall? Not majorly, but it's kind of a shame. I think it could have been prevented if it came in transit. And just as this Vaughan back there with the natural fiberglass colored handle, was a disappointment. Somebody that, you know, cared or did quality control might have been like, you know what, that has an awful lot of pitting for a new tool. Let's put it in the discount bin. And again, you know, if this is a $36 hammer and you say, hey, this thing's almost perfect, there's just some minor pitting for a new tool, how about you take it for $25? Give people that choice. But, that's really my only complaint there. My biggest thing with this, aesthetically it looks good. Obviously I personally changed some colors. My main thing is just, is it really going to not have reverb? And that's something that I'm going to have to figure out over time. Doesn't feel quite as balanced as the Vaughan, but again, I mean, look what's going on here. You shouldn't expect that, you know, when you do a little assessment of things. But I'm excited to use the little guy. Let's see here, the tag itself. There goes my prices, wonderful. 24 ounce patented design, reduces shock and vibration. We've got foreign languages I don't speak. Wear safety goggles, again, 100%, just in case anyone wants to question me or say, nope, that's made in Mexico. You can see for yourself. It's made in Taiwan. Country of origin, I'd prefer America, but, you know, if a tool is good, you know, it could be made in anywhere. It could be made in Greenland, Iceland, I don't care. If it exceeds my expectations, I'm a happy guy. So there we are with the Proto Anti-Vibe. And again, this is stuff I'll have to kind of update you on over time, because we have to use it before I can, like, endorse it. I'm super disappointed in this one aesthetically. I might love the hammer. It might be the greatest claw hammer I've ever used. This one, it's like, yeah, well, that's kind of a shame for the money, but I might come back and say, man, you know, I pound on this thing. It did so good with the stupid little, because I mean, yeah, hitting a driver under a staple is not like demanding, but if it does good there, I might do some crazier stuff with it and, you know, basically metal to metal type of impact. And it's like, hey, this thing is really good. You know, I don't even have to like wear gloves with it. You know, you don't feel anything. Whatever they're doing anti-vibe wise is legit, but I can't tell you that on a bench test. I can only tell you what we see here. So this stuff we'll have to kind of follow up on. Coming in next, we're gonna grab our dirty NWS scissors, and we're gonna take a look at this from Proto. This is something that could also add to the salt here, salt on the open wound, if you will. And that's because I truly don't know what I'm getting. I think it's going to be cool either way, but it could be like way better or way worse than I'm hoping. The price point on this thing's typically going to be $19. If you like the looks of it, be like, man, I wish that was a little bigger. They've got multiple sizes of these. With our discount, this was $14.54. And what is this? Well, if we take a gander at it, you're going to see right there, the part number, J276GXL. It's a 6-inch slip joint plier. And this is kind of blurry, but right there it says made in the USA, not California. Looks like a CA, that's just kind of the stamping coming off, but it's USA. As you can see, I've done nothing with these. So we're going to cut the plastic bag, set those down, and come on. All right, here we go. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you why we just grunted here in a second. So these are pretty interesting. They are a vinyl dipped handle. They don't have pinch guards, as you just saw there. And yeah, Proto branding on the inside. No made in the USA, unfortunately, there. Does the plier have that? It does. Okay, so right here, if we come to the back side, you're going to see kind of our countersunk. I'm sorry, that's a hex bolt. That is a hex bolt recess down in there. You can see their combination pliers. You can now see their slip joint. You're going to see Proto, the part number, and USA, so that's cool, although it'll come off. Would love to see it kind of etched in there. Right there, though, flush fastener, and you're thinking like flush fastener. Check this out. The big complaint, which I didn't grab any combination pliers, unfortunately, but you typically have like a rivet, right? Or, you know, like a little carriage bolt type of thing with a square nut on the back, and it sticks out and adds that much, you know, thickness on both sides. Nothing major, but, you know, maybe like a 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch on both sides, which can equate to 1/2 of an inch in some cases. This is flush. That's recessed, right? It's kind of like lower than flush, aside from the center head of the bolt. Right here, this is totally flush as well. You can see the thin beams here, and then you can come in and you're going to articulate it. Now that's pretty solid right there. what the disappointment is, I'm talking these up, and you're like, well, geez, what's not to love about these? I'd never seen these. I didn't know anything about them. This is one of those things where, like, if you look these up online, you're going to see this image, and that's it. You're going to see flush fastener, you're going to see proto, you're going to see the handle. But if you read the descriptions, it clearly states about grabbing 2 ways. I swear I think Proto used to have something like this. We used to have a pair at work. I don't know where they went, but you know, on the twin grips, where we have the teeth cut this way as well, sort of screw grabbing, Plier style, whatever you want to call it, I was under the impression these might have had that. I knew that there was kind of like 60-40. I was thinking it was in favor of them being there, based especially upon the descriptions you read. That is totally not the case. These are just standard run-of-the-mill combination pliers, although made in America, and they seem to be, like I said, pretty slim for what they are. The flush fastener, if you're somebody that uses combination pliers, I don't care the brand, you probably don't have this flush, and what this is going to do is allow you to slide this in and out of a pocket or a pouch super easy. You're not going to catch, you're not going to snag, you're not going to have any of those problems. So I think these will actually be fairly good. It's just like I said, I sort of was taking a gamble on these, and it did not come out in my favor, unfortunately. So there those are. We are down to one final item, and this was luckily in a box. We'll just go ahead and show you right here. And thinking like, wow, that sounds like a mess. I 100% agree. Now luckily this came, pliers, the anti-vibe, and this box were all in that envelope with no bubble, no padding, no cushion, nothing, just totally loose. I don't know that the pliers would have done that damage to these since they were bagged. I think that's just kind of something the factory didn't catch or didn't, you know, get clearance and resurfaced properly. But this might be the saving grace to this entire order. This might be the one thing. I can't say these are really a disappointment. I was just hoping that that was there. I knew it was a crapshoot. That's just kind of cosmetic stuff, and then you've got the MAC saltiness, and then that's just aesthetic. If you took the aesthetics out, I'm probably the happiest with that so far. But, what we have here is from Proto. It is their part number J52123. If you can see any of that, you'll see made in the USA at the bottom. You'll see 3/8 inch drive, 6-point 10-piece sets, and you're going to see 3/16, and that's about it. It looks like these were made in October of 2022. And price point on this, believe it or not, even with these massive, 16-ounce Vaughan made in America, 24-ounce Proto anti-vibe, this was the most expensive thing we bought by basically double. Okay, the anti-vibe was $27. These clocked in at $51.34. Now keep in mind that's my discounted price, so MSRP you're looking at $68. This is also something that I was considering getting from MAC, and I did not because they sort of just botched everything on that deal. And ooh, I'm pretty excited about this. So let me pull this out. This bag has socket clips, and that kind of exposes things, right? This is a socket strip. Cool. This, however, is where things get really good. Okay, these, if you do not know, are super stubby sockets from Proto. I recently contacted Koken. Of course, you've got the Koken Zeals. We have the 3/8 stubbies, super awesome, insanely good for tight tolerances and clearance areas, right? Especially paired with a thin ratchet, which is why the Stahlwille is here. I was going to have the Nipros out, but I left my keys to that box in the house, unfortunately, and I didn't feel like going back, so we just have the Stahlwille, which is fairly thin head, especially considering it's a flex. But this is that same concept. I emailed Koken because I was like, hey, just any plans to do this? There's another thing I asked about, which I won't tell you, but I also got that they were working on it. They're trying to coax Japan into doing some things for us, which is cool. And the best part is they actually listen to them. That's sort of how we got like the nut grips, and the nut grips expanded, and people buy them and they're like, oh, hey, those people know what they're talking about. Maybe we should listen to them. And so my question was like, hey, I love the size of those little Zeals, the stubby ones. Are there any plans to do SAE? And they said they'd asked Japan about it, and they're trying to talk them into it, and that's awesome. And if you think, well, why would you go out and buy the Protos if Koken might do it? And you'd ask them about it. I need these. I need them now. And, the simple fact of the matter is this is going to be like insanely helpful for almost anything, for anyone. And what I plan to do, if Koken does do that, man of my word, if they make those, I'll purchase them as soon as they're available. I'll bring them in. They will go here at the house. These little proto set will be going to work. Uh-oh, what happened, you say? The sockets are gone and there's the strip. What are you doing, sir? Well, 30 minutes, we time out. We're about to that point, and I thought, you know, it would be better for me and you if I just did this. And so, we've got an Ernst locket socket rail here, twist lock, and we've got, of course, the gray color from Tekton. Had this sitting on the hood of the Duster, and I thought, what better time to see if they fit and kind of showcase the set. So, aren't going to need a lot of real estate here, but that is a pretty comprehensive setup. We're not just going like 3/8 to 3/4. We're going to come in here and we're going to tack on 5/16, quarter, and 3/16 total win. And what I'm going to do here is just grab the 9/16. Why? Because that's what I will probably be using the most from this set. This looks like the profile essentially of kind of like a quarter drive socket, okay? And it's not. It's 3/8 drive. Some of these are insane, like when you get to the smaller drive sizes. This guy right here, you can see it's not like super deep on the broaching. Obviously it can't be. It could be a little deeper than it is, but you know, it is what it is. Size stampings are there. What would I change? The orientation. I'm a consistent guy. I don't screw you around. I say this with whatever brand. If you Snap-on, Harbor Freight, Quinn, Icon, you tell me. German, Japanese, Russian, I don't care. I like my sockets to be oriented in this manner with the roll stamps. I like the drive side down, business side up, and the stamping according, right? So this is the opposite of how I would personally prefer it. It's kind of a moot point. We can label these, get them marked out. If we can get this to show up for us, you're kind of going to see a part number. You've got USA, and you've got Proto and Professional kind of right below that. So what we want to try first, and this should be a really good test, is we're going to take a Stahlwille and we're going to pair this with the Proto, okay? Beautiful. Not the greatest fitment in the world, okay? But in terms of does it actually fit, it sure freaking does. So we're going to eject that. We'll eventually do comparison videos. This is already, obviously, just about 30 minutes. So what I have here is a Koken nut grip. This is literally the closest socket to me, and the reason in part why we selected 9/16 9/16 nut grip is here. And if you think like, hey, they look really similar, and I put them together and you're thinking like, hey man, you know, that Koken's pretty freaking small. You didn't need these Protos at all. Well, here's the catch, folks. This is quarter drive. This Proto 3/8 drive, which again, no trickery on my end. See the difference? Pretty obvious, right? 0.250, 0.375 type stuff. Look at that. 3/8 drive shallow socket's about the size of a quarter drive shallow socket. I mean, I'm talking super spec close. So, well, like I said, we will do detailed stuff here. I've got this 3/8 by 2-inch stainless bolt. Check that out. Really neat stuff here. So if you were searching for a solution, and this is something Mac, I believe, has these, and they have a really nice knurling. I kind of wanted to try them. I've never seen them on the flyer, but it was something I was going to buy. I got like such a bad taste in my mouth from them like canceling my order. They never asked me if I wanted to cancel it, because I would have said nope. They would have said, well, hey, this could be months out, sir. Wouldn't you like to just cancel it and have your money back? I'd have said nope. I want that hammer. You know, it can come in 6 months, 8 months, whenever. You know, just update me occasionally, or you'll be getting emails from me inquiring. And I was never given that option, so I thought, you know what, the Proto is essentially fractions of the price, and it's especially with the 25% off. I mean, $50 for these, you're going to pay a premium on any tool truck for a specialty socket. And these are made in America. I mean, it's a win across the board for me. Now, I'm going to come in here to the big one, which is 3/4, and again, that's kind of about the limit of what you would want to be using these with, in my opinion. But just look how small that is. We'll come in again and grab the 9/16 nut grip. It is just shades taller than that guy. if we stick this back, and I gotta say, they do look good on this gray rail, which is kind of another win for us. I don't know that they're gonna stay there. They totally could, because I don't know what else I would do with this. But I'm just gonna grab the quarter. Not even the smallest one, but the quarter, because I could see myself using that a little bit more. Take a look at this guy, okay? There it is. This is all basically necessary for your anvil. And then you've got that. Look at the opening for your drive side on the ratchet, and then look at the business end here. Super, super cool. Does it fit? Let's find out again. Stahlwille may not be the best choice here. That seems to fit like way nicer than the 9/16 for whatever reason. But look how small and compact that is. You're probably going to shear the head off of something with that size of a fastener, but you get the idea. And again, this is not the thinnest Stahlwille in the world. You know, you could probably get slightly thinner on a ratchet. Imagine putting these with like a functional Harbor Freight flex head ratchet, sort of like a wrench, and you can start to see the potentials of this little set. So I'm really happy with that one. I think that one will serve me well. And again, like I said, if Koken does come out with these, you know, in the Zeal line, whether, I don't know, maybe they don't want to put Zeal with SAE, but if they just come out with like a super stubby or something, man of my word, I'll pick them up as long as they're not like egregiously high. But if they're reasonably priced, as most Koken shallow sockets are, those will be coming here. They will be going in the box, and I'm simply going to take these to work, where they will, at least several of these sizes, will be living a very, very productive little life for me. So the only thing you could do to improve these is if you could thin the wall out a little bit, but they're kind of fighting that line here, or if you go much thinner, you're just going to have people just warranting these all the time, or the product gets a bad reputation. You have to maintain some sort of strength, but that would just be like another step further down the specialty socket echelon scale there. So I know it looks like a quarter drive set, but these are 3/8, 3/16 to 3/4, pretty expensive there. And I think I'm going to be really happy with these. Again, especially made in America, 50 bucks. It's a total win in my opinion. So, plus, we've currently populated that Tekton rail that I wasn't quite sure what exactly we would do with. Had some things in mind, like torques and specialty bits, just since I don't have anything that color, but those do look good, I have to say, and it stands out. That way, if I'm thinking like, I don't need those with quarter drive sockets, like, wait, no, why is that gray? Ah, yes, it's the Proto Super Stubbies. So, if you've used those or Mac, let me know. I'm sure Snap-on probably has something similar, but I'm sure that no one else offers something made in America for $50. So, we got that going for us. But why am we filming this? Well, work, debating about taking to work. I might have them here for a little while and then go to work, who knows. But these suckers right here, if Koken comes through and they have Zeal sockets that are super stubby SAE sizes, those will be going to work. If I like these and Koken doesn't come through on that front, I'm probably going to buy another set of those, and I do think I'll like them. But yeah, that is it. That is the haul from Zoro. Just a quick recap. I think these are super nice. It's flush fastener, so you're not going to have anything catching or dragging on a pouch or a pocket or your hand even. Small size, yes, but they do offer bigger sizes. They're all very reasonably priced, made in America. I took a gamble. I thought the way they were talking, they might have been like old gas pliers, right? Which is kind of like screw extraction by today's nameplates. Wasn't the case. Still a good pickup, especially for the price point, which again, sub 20 bucks. This guy was just disappointing on his aesthetic front. We could paint it, we could leave it like that. I think it's going to be a really good hammer though. This one I'm super excited about. The only complaint, aside from like bad memories from Mac, is just a couple of slight imperfections there. Not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Updates will come on these because they'll be going to work and I'll be using them possibly as early as tomorrow. Again, torn on that if I'll leave it here or take it with me. Might stay here for a little while, but very, very excited about our stubbies. They kind of won the day. So, I nearly bought something to go with those, and I held out, and maybe the next order will do that. So that said, if you have used any of this, if you bought a Vaughan FS16 and yours was blue and had an American wrap on it and it was blue here, tell me. If any of you have bought that with the impression that you were getting blue here and a blue handle, tell me. It'll slightly make me feel better, and I'm sure you will as well, because you'll now know you're not the only person that got totally shafted on that. So, as I mentioned, I think that's going to be a stupid good little hammer for me. It's not as cool looking as I thought it was going to be based on what I showed you, which was the exact image I assumed I would be getting when I placed the order. If you have experience with these little proto pliers, again, I don't really see these getting much attention here. If you think we need to make like a video contrasting combo pliers or something, let me know. But if you're somebody and you're always getting that, and over time as that happens, especially as the pliers age or if they're cheap, your little square nut and the carriage bolts start to back off, and then they can come apart, and you maybe rip it out of your pocket, and the fastener or the nut, usually the fastener, goes rolling around somewhere and you can't find it. You've got a pair of pliers that is separated and totally not functional now. So this has advantages there, but it's also never going to catch and put you in a bad position. So Proto flush fastener, and then anti-vibes. If you've used Proto, do you like them? Have you used Mac? Can you tell it? I know Stanley also. I don't know the country of origin on those. Could be Taiwan, could be China. If it's in China, everyone will have this technology soon. But anyway, if you have used these and Mac, is there a difference? Can you tell a difference? Do you know for sure that the Macs are made in Mexico and these are Taiwan? Have they changed over time, improved, regressed? Are they really anti-vibe? Again, what I'm hoping for here is I can come in, typically I've got gloves like this on. Sometimes I'm wearing just the sandy palm ones. But it would be nice to just totally bare hand this and not have the reverb coming through. So it's not really an issue with like a couple of blows, but like if you're hammering constantly, that's when it starts to become something you'd be more interested in upgrading. But yeah, if you got experience with any of this stuff, let me know. Same with those little protos. I'm kind of thinking that, along with these flush fastener pliers, might kind of be under the radar. People aren't really aware of them. But as mentioned, everything from Zoro with the fat 25% off, making it a fantastic purchase regardless of shortcomings of each and individual product collectively assembled. And I'm excited to put them to use. That's really going to be the big payoff. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned a little something. Maybe you found some stuff to put on your own wish list here. And if you've had bad experiences trying to order online from Mac, leave a comment down below. Maybe we can get them to change that. I'm sorry, that's just kind of bizarre. Like if KC Tool has a sale on Stahlwille ratchets, they're not going to make you like call in and speak to someone to purchase it. Like they're going to say like, hey, here's the code. You've got to use your code or the discount. Harbor Freight, they put a code out, your coupon code. You buy online instead of in store. Instead of a lady scanning it at checkout, you enter some ridiculous code and you get your 20% off, right? Mac really needs to get with the times on that. They've got to be costing themselves sales on that front, because again, not everyone has time during their set business hours to contact them and purchase stuff. So I think that's definitely something they need to get with the times on. And, maybe nobody uses it, or maybe they find like, man, we moved like an extra $5,000 in products, and everyone that did it bought online with the sales code from the flyer. Won't know until you try, right? So, and it's not a deal where you have to have a dealer. It's literally just they don't give you the flyer price online unless you call in, which is just, like I said, kind of nutty. So it's not really streamlined, I guess is the best way to put it. But as mentioned, the lady there was, like fantastically nice. It's not her fault, but they canceled my order. They didn't ask if I wanted it canceled. Just a bad taste in my mouth. So on that front, though, I'll quit rambling. Why? I got more stuff I want to do out here. So hope you enjoyed. And like I said, if you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. It helps the channel out, helps the channel grow, helps more people find this stuff. And what do I do if I turn into some YouTube juggernaut and have all kinds of crazy views and stuff and income coming in? I'm a simple man. I buy more cars and I buy more tools, which equals more videos and entertainment. So if you want to help out, feel free to do that. Most importantly, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will catch you back here for more action from the shop.